welcome back to my channel, Beautifully Lifted, lifting up beautiful souls. I thought I'd just come back to you guys with a little story time that I just thought just so that you guys could get to know me better and experiences that I have been through. So as you know, if you clicked on this video, this story time is about my horrible roommate experience. So my freshman, you hear stories. Let me tell you, you hear lots of stories about roommate horrors. And if you're going to college and you're planning on living in the dorms, you are gonna most likely have a roommate unless you are trying to spend that coin to have your own private room if one is available. So you know, sometimes some colleges don't offer that option, and some colleges require freshmen to stay on campus. So my freshman year, I went to Clark Atlanta University, and I had an amazing roommate. We were great. We weren't like, we didn't hang out outside of, you know, the room or anything, but we were cordial. Like, we were good. Like, I still talk to her from time to time now. She recently had twins and everything. So that was a great experience. And so when I'm hearing some of my friends' roommate experiences their freshman year, I'm like, wow, like, my experience is great. We're great. You know what I mean? And so my sophomore year, I decided to transfer back home to a college back home. I was offered several different scholarships, and this one was basically a full ride. So I was like, the smart choice would to go to that college. So I went to the college that was offering me the most, and it was still a decent away. It was about an hour and a half away from home. So it was still like I still got that feel of being away from home. But I could go home when I got homesick, and if an emergency happened, I can be there. And that was one thing I didn't like about going out of state, because Clark was out of state, and I just could not go home when family emergencies were happening. I could not go home for the holidays. I just could not go home. It cost way too much money. I was on the other side of, like, you know, wherever we were. I was like so far away. So I transferred back home, but when I transferred, one of my classes did not transfer over, so I was one class short of being considered a sophomore. And this particular college, I had to stay in the freshman dorms because I was considered still a freshman because I was one class short. So I was not looking forward to like living with people who were like a year younger than me. I don't know, at the time I just felt like, you know, I'm a college expert now, you know what I mean? I felt like, oh yeah, I got this, like I'm too grown, like I'm too like good to be talking to people younger than me. Like, you were just in high school, you know, I was being bougie, like whatever. Like, I don't know why my mentality was like that, but I was like, whatever, I'm gonna make the best of it, whatever. I was not looking forward to being like the oldest one in my dorm, but it turns out I wasn't. But that's what I was thinking, like, oh, I'm gonna be the oldest one because I'm so used to being one of the youngest ones in the group. And so being the older one, I was just like, I don't want to deal with it. So you get your room excitement. So when I was transferring over, the school was paying for my housing. However, this particular school has not prepared for the amount of students to where there was not enough on-campus housing, and you had to have had a car to live off campus because like the public transportation system was so horrible out there. You need a car. It was like in the mountains and stuff like that, so like you need a car, and I didn't know how to drive, so I didn't have a car. So it's like I can only go to this school if I get in the dorms. So I found out I was getting in the dorms last minute. Like, I want to say a few weeks before school was going to start, because I'm like, at this point, like, I'm just gonna have to go somewhere else. Like, I can't go here. So I got my roommate assignment, and you know, you're notified on who your roommate is. And so, you know, with Facebook and our social media, we look these people up and we contact them just to see like, what are you supposed to bring, what are like some things that you're expecting. And at the time I had a microwave and a refrigerator, so I took care of that for like our suites, because it was like one room was me and my roommate, the other room across from us was their roommate, like two other roommates, and then it was a common area and then the bathroom. So I just took care of our common area and brought, like, you know, the microwave and refrigerator or whatever. And so I contacted my roommate. We're gonna call her, what are we gonna call her? We gonna call her Kat. We'll just call her Kat. So I contact Kat and I introduce myself, and she's a little surprised because she had already been talking to the whoever I had replaced, and I guess that person decided not to live on campus. And so she was like, okay, cool, you know, whatever. And so we were excited to go meet, you know, whatever. So move-in day comes. I meet the two suite mates because they ended up being best friends. They went to the same high school, so they got each other as roommates, and they were really cool. And then I met my roommate, and she was like chill. She was like, you know, she's one of the laissez-faire type of people, like, oh, whatever, dude. Like, you know, she was one of the whatever, dude. I don't really, you know, not too many cares in the world. She was really cool. She was really cool. So we had lunch or something that day, and then I just felt like, I have to go through all of this. Like, I have to go through the whole RAs and like the things you go over freshmen's with, and I've already been through this. Like at Clark, they made us come like a whole week early. So Clark was their experience was way better. Like their experience was lit. Clark's experience was lit. But this particular school, it was definitely a completely different background. It was just like, blah, right? So we make our contracts on like what are our rules about borrowing clothes and all this and that. So it was basically, if you ask, then yeah, like if it's okay, you know, right? So, and that's how I am. I'm a person who doesn't mind sharing like at all. Like we can share like certain items, of course you can't share, but like, yeah, we could share, you know, whatever. So my roommate, she wasn't, at the time, I was still trying to gain weight. So let's backtrack to like high school, and then almost my entire life. I had always been like a 00, a 0, a 1, extra small, extra small, or small. And so I had been trying to gain weight, and when I went to Clark, I finally moved up a few sizes. Like I was at a size like 3 and 4, you know what I mean? Like I was really feeling it, like, yeah, girl, getting a little thick. Boy, I thought I was getting thick, y'all. Little do we know, right? So my roommate was maybe a size bigger than me, a size and a half bigger than me. I still was like one of the smallest ones. And so she can fit some of my clothes, but she can't fit some of my clothes, right? So anyway, everything's going well. Everything's going great during the school year. As the school year prolongs, everything's going great. My roommate is getting around, you know, enjoying life, new dude every day. We're just friends. You know what I mean? She's enjoying life. She's going home. She's going to work. You know what I mean? Her family was pretty well off, enough for her not to get financial aid. It was just cool. Like, we was cool, you know, whatever. I was shopping at the time. Like, I had developed a shopping habit because I had money. I had no bills. I had the scholarship. I had a refund. You know, like, I'm living life, right? So, oh my goodness. Even though I shop so much, I could tell you what I bought, when I bought it, and how much it was. Okay? Like, I knew my stuff because I come from somewhere where I didn't have anything. So, now that I can have things, I'm appreciative, but I also like know, like when I notate, like when I got it, where I got it, and how much it was. So at the time I was dating this guy, and he was back home. It was a horrible relationship. I don't know why I was in there, but I was going home every week, and I was catching the bus because at the time they had a bus that cost like $5 to take me home. So I would go home every weekend, and I would come back. So I was never there. You know what I mean? I was never there on the weekends, and so I would come home and like my door would be locked. And so every now and then my door would be locked, and then my roommate would hurry up and like unlock the door. And I'm just like, okay, maybe she didn't want to be bothered, you know, whatever. And slowly I started noticing clothes disappearing. You know, the first instance was she had some friends over and she was wearing one of my favorite jeans. And at the time, I'm not like, oh, she's wearing one of my jeans. I'm like, oh girl, I have the exact same pair of jeans. Like I have the exact same pair of jeans. Like dumbfounded. I always give people the benefit of the doubt. So I'm like, oh girl, we have the exact pair of exact same pair of jeans. We can like match one day. Like cool. And she was like, oh really? That's cool. You know, whatever, right? Playing along, but kind of like, you know, I look back now and I'm like, okay, like she knew they were my jeans. And so next thing you know, I can't find my jeans. So I brush it off like maybe I took them home or something, you know, because I'm going home every weekend. I look at home, I don't find it, right? So that was the first instance. And then I started noticing little things missing, and I had one winter coat. Listen, I worked off campus, but it was walking distance and I had to walk. And I had literally one coat. One. And it went missing. So I asked around, like there was nowhere, it wasn't at home, like I didn't take it home. And so I kept asking my roommates, like, have you seen my coat? Like I'm looking for my coat. And I ended up getting sick. Like I got sick this winter, like whatever. And everybody kept saying no. I was showing pictures. Like I went as far as to show pictures of my coat. And everybody was like, no, I haven't seen her. Are you sure you didn't bring it home? Because all my roommates are like, you know, you go home a lot. And I'm like, no, I'll check, but it's not at home, you know. So like my coat just goes missing, and I refuse to buy another pair because another coat, because you know coats are a little pricey, and I refuse to buy one because I just bought one. And like winter was gonna be up, so I was like, no, I'm not buying another coat. So I just stuck it out, like, you know, I thugged it out. I got this, you know. So oh my God, I got sick and all that. So as time went on, I started noticing, like, no, she's wearing my clothes. So I would talk to her and I was like, hey, Kat, you have my clothes. Like, pretty much. Like, I sat her down and I was like, I think, she was like, oh, those are yours. Like, I was wondering where they came from because, like, you know, they just happened to be on my side. And she, like, kind of made this story, like, you know, someone had took my clothes out the laundry room. And, like, so I'm thinking that maybe some people's clothes got mixed with mine and that's how it happened. You know what I mean? That was her story. So I was like, okay, cool. And I had so much clothes, so I like asked her, did she want some clothes that I didn't want anymore? And she, you know, she happily took it. Because I'm like, oh, well, let me just give her some clothes then. You know what I mean? Whatever. So, I mean, I'm real generous, y'all. I'm real generous. So I gave her some clothes and all of that, right? And so as time went on, she started doing like this World Ventures thing, and, you know, she had asked to borrow a dress. So she had asked me to borrow this like club dress once before. And so she asked to take it to Las Vegas with her. And I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, you could take it. So we know she know how to ask to borrow something, right? So they come back from the trip, and, you know, World Ventures, they're like, they host these big things to try to recruit. And she was on the pictures that they had just put up. Like, they update their things to show like, this is recent and we go out and we go on vacations and it's really cheap. And as I'm looking through the pictures, I'm slowly seeing all of her outfits are my outfits, like full-blown outfits. So I'm like, I'm getting mad now because I've already talked to her about 2 times about this, right? Because I had told her, like, well, if it's not yours, put it to my size. I'm a size smaller than you. Either way, like, if it's not yours, ask me before you wear it. Like, I've already talked to her about it because after the after whatever situation, I just started talking to her more. Like, okay, well, hey, can you just make sure that you let me know, blah 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 blah. So now I'm mad because I didn't talk to this girl like 2-3 times. And at this point, you asked to borrow some clothes, but then you just took the others? Okay, so I'm extremely mad. And so these World Venture people are hanging out in our suite, and I'm not the type of person to like put you on blast in front of everybody, right? So I go up one floor to vent to my friend. I went off. Like, I was mad. I was like, I don't know what I'm about to do right now because I haven't confronted her yet, you know, but like, I'm trying not, I'm not a fighter and I'm not a confrontational person, but at this point, I'm ready. Like, I'm ready to confront this girl. So, mind you, I'm like 18 years old And I'm just like, this girl, like, she's really, like, legitimately, like, I don't know how to explain this. This girl got a problem. So I pulled her away from her friends and went in the room, and I had just told her, like, hey, because she was wearing something of mine then. And I had said, hey, I noticed that you have, like, my pants on right now. And she was like, oh, those were yours? Y'all, she said it just like that. She said it just like that, so fake. Oh, those are yours? Y'all, I could not lie. This girl, fakest thing ever. So I'm like, yes, like, and she was like, well, I can take them off now. I was like, no, you can wash them first. So she's like, yeah, I'll wash it, whatever, you know, we'll do it. So I'm like, okay, cool. And I'm like, well, I've already talked to you about this, so this is becoming an issue, you know. And she was just like, oh, no. I just, you know, it just keeps on ending up on my side. And I'm like, listen, Kat, you know what's your clothes. You know what's your clothes. And my clothes, you know, I have a style. Like, I have a particular style. Like, you know what's mine. Because I'm like, you know, it's my style. So, you know, I'm kind of short with her. She could tell I'm a little upset, but, you know, I'm not, like, going off or nothing. And she's like, okay, well, I'll wash it, you know, woo-woo, right? I don't confront her about the clothes that I've seen. And then I asked her again, has she seen my coat? And I showed her a picture. I said, just so we're clear, so you're not confused on who's, like, you didn't know, you know, have you seen my coat? She said, no. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm just thinking, like, now this is bugging. This is eating at me, right? So I go to class that next morning because she leaves for the night. She doesn't come back or something like that. I go to class the next morning and I'm like, you know what? If she's there, I'm just going to ask her to open up her drawers and everything, and we're just going to go through it to make sure she doesn't have any more of my clothes. And if she's not there, I'm about to search her stuff. Okay? Because I can't anymore. So she wasn't home, so I was searching, and I opened up her thing, and immediately I see a bunch of outfits of mine just hanging up like it's hers. Like, okay, because I've always been respectful. I always left her side alone. Like, I never even went on her side. So I'm like, okay, you know, and I'm just looking and looking because I know there's a particular outfit that I have been looking for forever, and she had it, which was Las Vegas, so I know it has to be somewhere around here. So I'm looking through it, and I'm trying to be quick, and I'm just slowly pulling all of my clothes out and putting it in a pile in the room. And then I go under her bed in the duffel bag. And y'all, she had this big old duffel bag full of my clothes, right? And guess what was in the freaking duffel bag? My coat. When I tell y'all I lost it. I lost it. I was so mad. I just threw everything on the floor. I was just sitting there waiting. Like, I'm mad. Like, I have these levels, and when I get really livid, I'm crying. I'm talking to myself. Like, I'm trying to calm myself down. And I'm sitting here in my chair just waiting for her to come in. Door wide open. I'm crying. I'm going off telling my sisters, my cousins, everybody, like, this girl is stealing my clothes. I cannot. Like, I'm going off, and they're all like, you should have been done something. You know, you got them family members that's like, you need to beat her up, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, y'all know, I'm about to go off on her. Like, she gonna walk in this room, and we gonna have some problems, right? So God was looking out for her that day, because one of my roommates, the sweet mate that I was closest to, walked in. And she's like, what's going on? Are you okay? And I'm like going off, and I'm telling her what's going on. And she's like, okay, well, calm down. She's like, calm down. And mind you, I'm the only black girl here. So I was really like, they're like, ooh, this girl, go hurt this girl. And I'm not even a fighter. They were like, oh my God, pray for this girl. Let's pray for Kat. Okay, so she tells me that she was stealing her eyeliner. Her very expensive, like how I am with my clothes, she used with her makeup, and she was stealing her expensive eyeliner and mascara. And she confronted her about it. And then, because she was like, oh, she said the same thing. Like, oh, it just happened to end up in my stuff. And she's like, no, it didn't. And then she said after that, she started, and she went through her makeup thing, and she found it. And then she was like, ever since then, her thing went missing again, but now she doesn't keep her makeup stuff there. So she was like, I think she has a problem. I would be upset too. But she convinced me to go talk to the RA. So I went to go talk to the RAs. I'm mad, and they're like, whoa. whoa, okay, let's handle this. Mind you, one of the RAs I was on the cheer team with, so she was so shocked because I'm like the nicest person. Like, I am not a confrontational person at all. I do not cuss unless I'm mad. Like, you know, like, I am not this person. So they're like, okay, we'll contact her and we'll have a sit down, whatever. So I go to work and then we have our sit down when we come back. And the RAs was just like, we don't know what to do. We gonna sit aside. And then I just tell her, I confront her. I was like, you're stealing my clothes. You have my coat. I go off on her and she's just like, my bad. You know, like, she's so laissez-faire. But she's scared too. Like, she's scared. She's never seen me like this. So she was like, well, my bad. And then the RAs was like, well, yeah, according to your agreement, it's ask. And I was like, well, she hasn't asked. That's the problem. She just took and stole and kept. That's the problem, right? So anyway, long story short, they were like, okay, let's just keep you guys go through this stuff and then, like, don't go through each other's stuff no more. Because what I found out what was happening, like, I talked to a bunch of people that we knew and they were like, oh, we've seen her wear that. And matter of fact, it was always when you were back home. And then then I noticed that, like, what she was doing when the doors was locked is she was going through my stuff. And then she would pretend like she was doing her abs or something when I would come in. So she was locking the door to go through my stuff in case I walked in. And when by the time you're done unlocking the door, she has enough time to, like, put everything back. And so that's what she was doing. So anyway, she ripped my jeans and all of that because clearly she was like a size or size and a half bigger than me. And she ripped them. So I was like, well, somebody needs to replace that. And woo-woo-woo. And so long story short, she ended up having to replace it 3 weeks later. And then, like, you know, I'm not going to be the roommate from hell. You know what I mean? So I was just like, okay, whatever. I remember I offered her some food one day and she ate it, but I shouldn't have done that because then she got comfortable because then literally the day before we moved out, she stole my cheer shorts that I literally just got done working in. And if you know the cheer shorts, they're so short and all up in there, like, that's nasty. So I was just like, I'm not even gonna confront her. This girl, like, she got a problem. I'm just happy I'm moving out. And dang right, I was telling everybody the story. And I don't think she liked that. So she eventually unfriended me. And then I seen her like a year later with my then new boyfriend. And they were just like, you know, he was like, she's looking and all this and that. Well, I'm not a bully though. So I was just like, it is what it is. It's whatever. But that's when my roommate was stealing my stuff, y'all. And wearing it. Like what? Like what? But you do know you can transfer room. I didn't know at the time. And, you know, with them, they had such limiting spacing that it was too hard to, like, move around. But, you know, if you're not getting along, I think it's, like, halfway through the semester, they allow you to move up until halfway into the semester. They allow you to switch rooms if one's available. Or by the next semester, you're able to switch rooms. But I wasn't aware of this at that time, so. And I love my suite mates and stuff. It was just Kat that was a problem, and I liked her outside of her stealing my stuff. But yeah, that's my story time. I was trying to make this video short, but it looks like it's a little long, so I'm gonna have to edit. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll talk to you guys soon. I'll be coming up. My next few videos will be something school related to help you guys. But yeah. See y'all till next time. Like, comment, subscribe. Go ahead and follow my public Instagram page, which all the information will be down below, and my website. But if you want to stay in touch,